What's up, everybody? Stacking Sufer here, your favorite YouTube stacker. And I am finally back here at Torpedo Comics. All right, you guys see it there? Okay, so I'm gonna back up so you can see the incredible view. So anyway, we're gonna talk about comic books today, okay? But more importantly, we're gonna talk about graded comic books. How are graded comic books similar to graded silver and gold coins? Does the value change? Is it worth getting your comic books graded? Is it worth getting your coins graded? All right, we're gonna find that out. Get serious today, and these glasses are gonna come off. So hit it. Stacking Sufer. The life topic, I'm your best friend. Balances in your bank and stack. Aside round, okay, guys? This is not something you send in for grading. There's no real rarity to it. It's inexpensive silver. You wouldn't do that. This one, on the other hand, is a Millennium Falcon 3-ounce from New Way that's really sick. These are awesome. So ungraded, this is I think they're asking around $280, around that, maybe $300 for these on eBay right now. So it's a pretty cool coin. And graded, I just sold a graded one for $480. Is this one here? Okay, so you've got Chewbacca. And it comes in the black case, so whoever had these done paid a little bit more to have the black case and the Star Wars series on there. Here's Luke Skywalker. And then I've got C-3PO. So you've got all these fun comic books. We'll talk about these as well in a minute. All right, James, well, thank you for letting us come to your shop today and be able to ask you a few questions and also take a look at these awesome comic books you have. We're also going to be talking a little bit about some of the coins. I brought some coins to show you too that are also graded. So they kind of have a parallel to graded comics. And there's always a reason why you would grade something and why you don't. Mm-hmm. Additionally, I've got kind of a gold surprise that I want to show everybody at the end. Very cool. That you thought was pretty cool, right? So James, how long have you been collecting comic books, and what kind of got you into it in the first place, and why are you at Torpedo Comics? What brought you here?
So I've been collecting since I was in grade school. There was a period of time, when X-Men was just huge. That's all the kids were talking about on the playground, and I had to find out what this was. So I went to my local comic book shop, picked up a copy of X-Men 171. This is my actual copy that I had from way back when.
So let's look at this real quick here. You guys notice anything on there? First off, it's signature, right? For those of you that know about that. Look at that. I mean, it's nearly a perfect copy.
Yeah. But I picked this up, started reading it. Didn't really know what was going on, but it caught my attention, and I wanted to know more. And then after that, I just kept reading and buying, and it became an obsession. And after that, I was hooked. So, and I've been collecting ever since. I took a little break in college, but I've just been collecting my whole life, even when it wasn't cool. I was a collector. So, and then I ended up here. I worked in the high-end clothing industry, and I just kind of got burned out a bit and decided to take some time off. And I volunteered at a convention, and they just saw me working, and they're like, "Who's this guy?" And things just lined up. They're like, "Hey, we're opening up a store in Irvine. What are you doing right now?" I'm like, "I just quit my job 2 weeks ago." So met with them, and they're like, "You'd be perfect. Would you like to work at our store? We want to make you the manager." And I was like, "Let's do it." So I've never worked in comic books before, but I've been here almost 2 years now, and I've been having a great time.
Really cool. What I'd love to do is talk a little bit about the difference between a non-graded comic book and a graded comic book. And then also, how would you know if you should send one in? And then what can it do to the value when you get it back graded? Knowing that there's a couple different grades that you could get on a comic book, and it can make a pretty good difference, right?
Right. So a non-graded book or a raw book is just something you're picking up off the shelf. This is a raw book. So it's ungraded. We kind of have it around an 8.5. it's just what you would pick up, out of a bin or whatever.
Okay. And what do you guys have that priced at right now?
This one is 45.
Okay, $45 for the raw.
Yep, this is the first appearance of Long Shot.
Okay.
It's signed, but it's not graded. So it's a little bit higher than it would normally be.
And just as an aside, if I were to send that one in particular, knowing that it's probably not perfect, I would expect a lower grade.
Right.
And even though it's signed, it wasn't signed at a convention where
it was witnessed.
Where it was witnessed. Right. So I would get a different version than one of the yellow ones.
Right. You'd have to. You'll only get a yellow label. This is a yellow label. If it was witnessed by a CGC person, that's kind of like their guarantee, and it'll tell you who signed it and on what day.
Okay.
So a non-signed one would just be a blue label, and it tells you everyone that worked on it. And then it will tell you any pertinent information, if it was a first appearance or, anything like that that's going on in there. So, non-graded book, and if it's something that you want to have graded, people get books graded for a couple different reasons. One is conservation. It's maybe be something old or something rare, so they want to protect it. Another reason would be for monetary reasons. They can turn it around, flip it. Once it's graded, it's protected. It has that grade on there, and it'll always be that grade.
Yep.
So it's easier to buy, sell, trade because you know exactly what that book is going to be worth at that grade, and then anyone looking to buy it also knows what that grade is and how much it should go for or sell for. How much.
And are there sites you can go to see what a value might be for a graded book?
There are. Probably the easiest one to just kind of get an idea of just go to eBay.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be super complicated. There's also like GP analysis. And, I think you have to have a membership to look on there. You can also go to Go Collect. But there's resources out there, so it's pretty easy to find out what something should be valued at.
Okay.
So, and then the third reason people get stuff graded is just for personal reasons. It's just a book that you like. Maybe it's not worth a whole lot. Like that with that X-Men 171, just so happens it's worth a little bit, but it's not a huge amount of money. But this is personal to me. I wanted to have this.
You're not selling that.
This is never going out of my collections and never leaving me. So I will always have this.
So real quick, if we look at the other long shot you have that's graded,
yeah,
what would be the difference in? Because that looks like it's an 8.52.
Yeah, which is pretty much the same grade as this one.
So they're both signed.
Yes.
One of them was witnessed, one of them wasn't.
Right.
And this one's graded, the other one's not. So what would be, let's see, we said that was 45?
This one's 45.
What do you think that one would be worth about?
This one we have at 100.
100?
Yeah.
Okay.
So more than doubles the price.
Okay.
So one, because it's a definite grade, whereas this one we kind of approximate the grade. And then, there's the cost of actually having it graded.
Yep.
That you have to factor into the price of it.
So for someone we're looking at that book there, it would probably be a good idea to buy the one that's already graded versus taking the time to send one in. You're not going to save a whole lot of money.
Right. Yeah.
Now, if it was a more rare book where, maybe it's $100 for an ungraded and it's $400 or $500 for a graded one.
So if we're talking something like this.
Okay.
So I probably spent about $140 for the book itself.
Okay.
And then, some extra to get the signature and then send it in. Probably all in for about $200. Came back at 9.8.
Okay, let's look at this one.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about this book? Leave a comment down below. If you like this book, give me a number 1, and then also tell me this is a sick book, you guys.
Yeah.
So you tell me, what do you guys think? And just as a quick side little advertisement, if you haven't already done so, please hit the subscribe and the bell icon and the thumbs up, because James wants to get the feedback, guys, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
He wants to know that he's putting on a good presentation for us here.
So, probably all in on this book for about $200.
Okay.
And I don't know, it probably goes upwards of like $1,400, $1,500.
So that one was worth it. That was an investment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, when I got it back initially, it was probably worth like $700, and then the pandemic happened, and then everything shot up, and now it's kind of correcting itself. But I haven't looked in a while, but I want to say it's probably like around at least $1,400.
Okay.
So
how expensive can they get? Like Superman #1 is in the millions.
Superman #1, I think, sold for 6.3.
6.3. Okay.
It was an 8.0 copy.
Okay.
There's only 2 of them that have been CGC'd that are known to exist. So it's super rare.
So if any of you have a Superman laying around, I won't believe you.
Yeah. Even a low grade copy can sell for $100,000.
Yeah, that's insane.
So, yeah. So, but it's just such a rare book that, something like that. Yeah. You can retire on that.
Yeah, that's
buy
pretty
your
cool.
house or whatever. And, yeah. So
Okay, I'm gonna
buying
stop
ticks
us
in it, and it'll come back 9.8. It has like maybe 2 spine ticks, and then I'll send a book in that's just immaculate, and I got a 9.4, and I'm like, what in the, how?
So sometimes you don't know.
It's all subjective.
Yeah. So what would be the recommendation if someone that's watching this has a comic book at home? They perceive that it's worth a ton of money because their dad gave it to them, or they've just held on to it for a long time. So you mentioned eBay. You can go to eBay, and
that's the easiest.
For everybody that's on here, when you go to eBay, also go check the
sold.
The sold. Yeah. Mark the sold. Go to the little check down menu and hit sold. If you know how to do that. If you don't, DM me. I can tell you guys how to do it. But if you look at that and you see that ungraded ones and graded ones have a huge disparity, in my opinion, I would say it's probably worth sending that in for grading. If it's only the difference of like $40, I probably wouldn't do it unless you're trying to really keep it in good shape, or it's sentimental to you and you want to restore it. But besides that, let's say it looks good. There's like a $500 difference. Okay, I find that. How do I know what the grade might be? So I'm not a trained eye. What are some of the things that a person could look at, or should they take it to their local comic book store and have someone look at it? What would be your recommendation?
You can't, well, my first recommendation is always do research.
Okay.
Research everything that you're thinking about sending in. Go to eBay, check other sites, just get on the internet. There's tons of resources. Look and see that if it's worth it. As far as the condition of the book, look at the edges. See if there's any folds in it, any color breaks in the cover. Are the pages white? On modern books, it should be fairly immaculate. Older books, you might have a few spine ticks here and there. You want to make sure there's no folds, there's no chipping around the edges, everything's complete on the inside. All the pages are there, any inserts, they're all there. You want to look for stuff like that. When you want to send it in, if you're thinking about sending it in, you can, if it's a little bit older, you might want to think about getting it pressed, and there's services that you can do that. CGC can also do that. But yeah, usually there's local places where you can have it cleaned and pressed. CGC just presses it, and it'll get you a little bit higher. If it was maybe a 9.2, maybe it'll get you to a 9.4, 9.6.
Okay.
So, and when we're talking about, certain books, the difference between 9.4 and 9.6 could be hundreds to thousands. So sometimes it is worth it to do stuff like that.
So I know I had a Star Wars first release, and the first comic book from the 70s, and Star Wars #1, and mine was white off-white.
Yeah.
And then it was a 9.6. I paid a pretty penny for it, but going up to the 9.8 that's white was like almost triple the price.
Yeah.
And it took it way up.
Yeah.
So that's one that's on my list. All right, well, thank you so much for that. So what we're going to do real quick, guys, is I have a few other things I wanted to show you, and then we're going to do a quick tour of the comic book store. So let me show you a couple. All right, so this video got pretty long, over 30 minutes, so I decided to split it into 2 different parts. This is the end of part 1. In part 2, we'll look a little bit more at the coins, about coin grading and what that can do to the value. We'll also go on the little tour that James has for his store, and we'll be talking about some of the signed, non-signed comic books, as well as looking at the different statues that they have and some of the other really cool collectibles that they have here. Awesome, guys. So leave some comments. Let me know what you think. James is maybe up for doing a live stream sometime. So if you guys want to do a live stream, let me know. He takes payment in comic books signed. I think he's looking for a Spawn first edition. So I'm just kidding, but If you guys want to do a live stream or learn more about comics, let me know. We can have some other people on. It'll be fun. So until next time, peace out. Thanks, guys.